Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is huge. I'm not making it up. MSN. Trump considers televised arrest of Russiagate foes. He stated categorically, President Trump, that he would have no problem arresting on TV John Brennan, James Comey, and others. There's almost certainly going to be, I would say, there's a 100% certainty that people will be indicted for setting up and framing President Trump in 2015 and 2016. People will be indicted for creating a Cold War, McCarthy-era, Red Scare, nonsensical, completely irrational, apoplectic zeitgeist that was a fabrication. It was a complete hoax. There was not a shred of evidence that said that Russia wanted Trump. There was not a shred of evidence that said that they interfered to get Trump into office. If anything, the intelligence, and you'll hear in a second exactly why Brennan and Comey will be indicted, almost certainly, possibly arrested. No, if they're indicted, they'll be arrested if they're indicted, but possibly arrested on television. This is exactly why. Hit subscribe. I can go on forever on this, but hit subscribe. First, we'll go to Brennan. When you watch this channel and you say, okay, he's talking about the same things over again, you have to look at the testimony. I am showing you, ladies and gentlemen, the testimony that is the basis for arrest and indictment. The testimony here you'll see with Brennan and with Comey will be the basis of why they will almost certainly be arrested on television.
Since I'm going to word it a certain way, but I think you'll understand what I'm saying. In the preparation of the report on the 2016 election, which concluded that Russia favored the election of Donald Trump, who would have made the decision to include or exclude any evidence or indications of Russian intentions that were contrary to that conclusion?
Myself, Jim Comey, Mike Rogers, and Jim Clapper relied on the experts.
Well, he just implicated Comey and Clapper. The experts were the Steele dossier purchased by Hillary Clinton. The experts, initially, the actual experts stated from the declassified documents that there was no evidence that the Kremlin wanted Trump. In fact, the evidence showed, the experts stated categorically that the Russians didn't care who won. They just wanted to perhaps sow discord, but they didn't care who won. They didn't care if Hillary won. And by the way, Russia invaded under Bush, Obama, and Biden, not under Trump. So I don't think they feared Democrats so much, but let's continue.
Who pulled this draft together in the intelligence community assessment. And it was a process where the representatives from those entities wrestled with the language to make sure that they had as much accuracy and precision and consensus as possible. So any adjustments that were made during the process. I met with some of my officers who were involved in it. I asked them questions. I wanted to make sure that they were comfortable with sort of the language that was being used, but it would have been that internal interagency process that then resulted in the intelligence community assessment. That is the traditional way that these assessments are drafted, are coordinated, and are published.
An assessment is meaningless. It could be a hunch. It could be a guess. It could be an educated guess based on intelligence, not evidence. And he makes a distinction between intelligence and evidence. Intelligence is this mysterious, ambiguous word that could mean anything. They didn't have any evidence because none existed. But let's continue. We know from the declassified documents from Tulsi Gabbard that they did not rely on accurate intelligence and that they manipulated the narrative with faulty intelligence literally purchased by Hillary Clinton, the Steele dossier.
And again, without even getting to the final conclusion, if there were other evidence, though, that indicated contrary, should that have been listed or not?
You're dealing with a lot of information when you put together an intelligence assessment, and it comes down to a distillation process. And as you know, there were two products that were produced, a unclassified version and a highly classified version. And the attempt was to try to include in that highly classified version all of the relevant and pertinent information that needed to be in there in order to undergird the judgments contained. And so was 100% of all of the information available put into that highly classified one? No, but it was taken into account. And so therefore, again, some decisions have to be made about it. But I am unaware that anything was intentionally excluded because of intelligence, that is, that was, for some reason, one of the agencies didn't want in there for a reason that was not a very legitimate intelligence reason.
Well, you just committed perjury right there. We know from the declassified documents from Tulsi Gabbard that the initial intelligence assessment stated that Trump was not picked by Putin, that Trump did not coordinate with the Russians, that there was not a shred of evidence that the Russians wanted Trump. You'd have to be a complete and utter imbecile to believe any of that. But millions of people believed it because they couldn't possibly come to terms with the fact that Hillary Clinton lost. The entire country went through a Jacob Javits November 2016 moment for 10 years because Democrats couldn't accept the fact that they had lost. So they relied on completely partisan, fabricated hoax that Brennan and Comey and others created. Again, not one shred of evidence existed that Trump was working with the Kremlin in any way, shape, or form. They made up everything. We know that from the Tulsi Gabbard ODNI declassified documents just the past couple weeks.
I think we can discuss that in the executive session. Mr. Gowdy, I yield balance my time to you.
Thank you, my friend from New York. Director Brennan, last time we were talking about at the inception of your investigation in 2016. I want the next question to include the inception, the pendency, up until your...
And we have the Federal Bureau of Investigation Director Kash Patel right there. There will be indictments, and there will be people arrested, and there will be people prosecuted and convicted. You have the FBI director right there watching in real time. This is, close to 9 years ago, as all of these people testified and lied under oath. But check this out. This is really important. This is the Honorable James Comey.
Because here's how I thought about it. I'm not trying to talk you into this, but I want you to know my thinking. Having repeatedly told this Congress, we are done and there's nothing there, there's no case there, there's no case there, to restart in a hugely significant way, potentially finding the emails that would reflect on her intent from the beginning and not speak about it would require an act of concealment, in my view. And so I stared at speak and conceal. Speak would be really bad. There's an election in 11 days. Lordy, that would be really bad. Concealing, in my view, would be catastrophic, not just to the FBI, but well beyond. And honestly, as between really bad and catastrophic, I said to my team, we've got to walk into the world of really bad. I've got to tell Congress that we're restarting this, not in some frivolous way, in a hugely significant way. And the team also told me, we cannot finish this work before the election. And then they worked night after night after night, and they found thousands of new emails. They found classified information on Anthony Weiner. Somehow, her emails are being forwarded to Anthony Weiner, including classified information by her assistant, Huma Abedin. And so they found thousands of new emails.
Okay, what did we just hear? Again, this is the basis for all of the indictments and all the prosecutions right here.
Catastrophic. I said to my team, we've got to walk into the world of really bad. I've got to tell Congress that we're restarting this, not in some frivolous way, in a hugely significant way. And the team also told me, we cannot finish this work before the election. And then they worked night after night after night, and they found thousands of new emails. They found classified information on Anthony Weiner. Somehow, her emails are being forwarded to Anthony Weiner, including classified information by her assistant, Huma Abedin.
Clinton's team is forwarding classified emails to Anthony Weiner, according to James Comey. And this is the most powerful country in the world, and nobody cared. This wasn't an issue. We have tens of billions of dollars in terms of funding for the intelligence agencies. Classified emails are being forwarded to Anthony Weiner from Clinton's team, according to Comey. and they went after Trump as a former president with the power to declassify documents at Mar-a-Lago that were not on servers. And then you have Brennan and Comey committing either perjury or part of a conspiracy while giving testimony. That's the basis for indictments. Hit subscribe.